Hey guys, welcome to Production Music Live. My name is Francois. In today's video, we're going to take a look at this Ableton project here from our Böhmer Melodic Deep pack. It's the Ableton template Cloud 94. And we have two grouped sections here. We have our drums group and our instruments group down here. And above I have the kick, an organic bongo groove, which makes the theme for this track, and I will talk about that in a minute, and sidechains and stuff. And we have a 5-minute long track, or a bit longer, and it has an intro section here. It builds up slowly over time right here. Then it falls into this break part, has a build-up part, main part or drop right here, a bit more action going on here, and then we are going through the outro, into the outro right here. And it's a very sustained track. It could be seen as an instrumental track for something that could have a vocal on top. So that's how it's designed. And let's first take a look at something I think is very important if you want to make this style and you kind of want to make it interesting. You need something like a theme. And the theme could also be an organic element. So what do I mean by that? Let's take a look. We have this bongo groove here, and let me quickly take off, or first of all, group these effects down here, group, so I can switch the whole group on and off with this toggle. And let's actually copy it in front, Command L to loop the section, and actually Command I to insert some more time, to have a bit more space here in the beginning. And let's copy it over here. Play it back. And let's actually also take off 12 and 8 reverb here. Now you might be asking, so how is that going to be the theme of our song? Of course, there's some kind of organic bongo groove, but let's play kick together with it. Well, actually, not a low pass kick. Nothing special about that. Let me quickly copy the sidechain for now. And now, what can we do about this? Let's put on the Resonator, which you can always find in your audio effects down here, Resonators. Put this on, put in note C2, because our song is in C, and we are going to select that here as well, and drive it up and decay all the way up. All right. Okay, so we add in some resonators in different frequency parts. You can actually see that here. If we take down the decay, this is a super powerful trick that brings your track into a totally different environment already. Kind of leaves the only electronic part and it kind of feels organic in a way. It's like Guy Borato or Fritz Kalkbrenner, and Ben Böhmer is also using this in a couple of his tracks. And now, how can we even make it better? Like, let's put a filter delay on top of this. So filter delay from our Ableton effects as well. A little bit of redux in front, redux effect, hard sampled. Nice. And now we are just taking off some frequencies we don't need. This one here is just notching out one very resonant part I didn't want in the mix. And let's clean it up in the low end and the high end here. And what is this filter doing? It's emphasizing with the resonance on these frequencies here, somewhere at 4K, 5K. Okay, so this is our theme for this track. That's actually how you would start the track, because now you know what to build around it. You can add toms and clap now. Oh yeah, actually we also had some send reverbs. So reverb shorter decay time, reverb longer decay time. And we had those here. So let's bring them back. What was it? 12 or 8 here or something. Well, sometimes if you play the track solo, it sounds like, what's that? What's up with the reverbs and everything? But in the mix, it could work. So let's not be distracted by that right now. Let's put in this perk loop here, perk loop 17. And you see we have another resonator on this one as well. And also notice C3 and dry wet up is not all the way, but quite up at 63%. Now this one works perfectly with this organic loop here. Okay, and what else? Let's copy some of these elements here to the front. Oops, here. So we are keeping it simple here in terms of harmonies and chords. We are just using 3 chords, and this one is almost playing all the time. So C's almost playing all the time. Then we have A and F, and well, let's actually see the pads to see the full chords. Now, I've listened to many Ben Böhmer tracks, and I think he does this a lot. He's using 3 chords, and he kind of introduces a lot of stability into his chords as well by keeping the root note right here and keeping the 5th, and then just like messing around with the bass notes and building up an inversion of one or another chord. And that's what makes it like super stable, super easy to listen to, and still you have a lot of flexibility to play melodies and other things on top now because it's so stable. I can have like this wow, wow, like pitched long notes going on here because I always know this is not going to be something completely different, and we would sound off pitch if we have this pitched lead going here. But if the lead is kind of going back and forth between these 2 notes here, it will always sound great because these are already part of our chord progression right here. So 3 chords could be the magic number for Ben Böhmer style tracks. And don't hesitate, even if at the beginning you feel like it could be boring, don't hesitate to start and finish with the same chord. You can still make it interesting by adding in other types of elements or, you know, using such a theme right here. by the way, this is another trick to keep your arrangement interesting. You have these soft Serum pads here that are only playing G and C, so the fifth, an octave lower, and our root note here. And what this does is just playing these notes over time, and then we are sweeping the filter up and down. So it's kind of a sweep pad, but it keeps the pad section of your track moving. So I thought that was super useful to keep a longer track, which doesn't have too many changes, a bit more interesting. Let's take a look at other drum elements from this one and copy this over. Well, as mentioned, they can be found here. Feel free to check the link in the description for the entire Böhmer style Melodic Deep sound pack, which contains 5 Ableton templates and his live default DJ setup and MIDI files and this sample pack right here with one-shots and loops. And you can also bundle it up with the first edition of the one we made with Böhmer before. It's called Sunset Vibes. It's more in the style of Anjunadeep in general. And it also contains another 4 fully editable Ableton templates, only using Ableton stock effects and what is it, Wavetable in this case. And in this pack, we are only using Ableton stock effects, so no third-party plugins. But our synth in these ones here is going to be Serum. So that's the only third-party plugin you're going to need. All right, so going on, let's take a look at a part where we are playing a lot of stuff, which is this one here. So as you can see, we're playing 16th notes in with these hi-hats, and velocities are, changed here and there and tweaked to make it a bit more natural in the feeling. We don't have a groove applied on it right now. And what else? We have reverse cymbals, splashes and stuff. That's just, usual stuff to keep your transitions interesting. And what is this one doing here? And then we have our bass, which is pretty much the same bass we used in the balloon one as well. PML balloon, Melodic Deep here. So a long sustained bass with a little bit of a pitch at the beginning of the oscillator, or at the beginning of the wave coming from the oscillator. Envelope 3, again, controlling the pitch of our oscillators. And envelope 2, controlling our filter frequency cutoff. That's this movement here, following this shape. And the amplifier has a bit of a tag time and then decay of 2 seconds, and then we are keeping it at a sustained level of -13 decibels. And 2 erosions here, not really heavily applied to make it a bit more natural. An auto filter here set to OSR setting and drive up a little bit to keep it a bit more, to add a little bit more power to it in the mid frequencies and maybe a little bit saturated. And you notice we are at 10K here, so there must be some other, there's even another, that one is the one that's actually automated here, another auto filter in the PRD setting, and that one adds even more drive. Okay. Let's quickly take a look at our... Well, these are blip sounds. I think this one's setting on the clap. That one is actually nice. How did we make this one? It's from our PML Melodic Techno preset pack, and it's well, it has this plucky envelope on our filter right here, and triangle wave, and then we have this saw rounded to square wave here, and this glass lid, which is in the levels the loudest one. So then we have our pads in the background. Super simple one with a sine wave here and with a saw wave right here, mixed in together, and then a filter on top, low pass, 12 decibels, clean filter. And then on top we have, oh yeah, that one is interesting. That's a nice trick always. We have the root node and the fifth activated and another root node up here. And this one just adds Atmo in the background. Super nice. And you see I'm using this notch filter here. And then panning it from left to right to keep movement on that sound. If we play this together with the pad. And then we have this string element down here, which is somewhere deep in the 80s from our Wavetable presets coming with Ableton somewhere. Okay. In pads can be found. Playing G. It's like almost sounds like a monk choir or something like that, but it's very subtle in the background. I'm adding this to add some higher frequencies to the pad. And what else do we have here? Yeah, and that one is going in the same direction. It's in here for the same reasons. Oh yeah, this one could be interesting as well. So all these things are in here to like suggest or kind of tell you that things are moving. So we have this echo and dizziness thing here, sending that thing around. Kind of sounding like this wah-wah effect. And combining with these elements here, we are really filling up the frequency range of our pad sounds. And again, all of this works because the C is playing here, and then we're always playing the fifth. And we have this very stable chord progression. So that's how we create atmosphere here. And what else is interesting? I think this lead thing here. there's this high pad. We haven't talked about that. This is just sitting on top of this mid pad here, and it's still called pigments because I actually made this with Arturia pigments first, and then tried to, because it has these really nice paddy sounds, and then I tried to sort of rebuild them with Serum so that, you know, the average person not having all the plugins can make use of this tutorial as well. So Serum in this case, very simple setup. We are playing a triangle wave and a sine wave here. And we are bending them slightly. Reverb on top. And this is now being combined with this thing here. Playing the third, the second, the third, and the fifth, and the third again. On top, 1 octave higher though. Yeah, and that one almost sounded like an organ. It's as well made with Serum and another triangle wave right here. And then we have this, well, bent sine wave. And here our phaser is making a big difference. Not that big of a difference, but you get the point. And then we have resonance here to emphasize a bit on the higher frequencies. And let's actually take another look. We have mono, legato on here, and a little bit of portamento. So the transitions between the notes are a bit pitched as well. But only if they overlap. You can see these don't overlap, but these here, they do overlap. And then we get... Okay, so that's how this is done. And then this one makes a nice sound as well. This is called Dusky Swell Synth Brass made with Operator. It comes with Ableton Suite. And that just has the perfect attack here. And it's nice to have different, like that's what Ben Böhmer does as well, quite often, having different pad layers with different attack times and different decay times. So nothing really ever perfectly starts on the first hit of the first bar and finishes 8 bars later. The one could be moving wow, and the other one could be wow. And then you have this movement and it feels much more organic. Yeah, and here we just have Serum, our main synth, playing this melody on top, and we are using this setup, just the basic mini wave, 1 voice, filter envelope, according to this envelope here, decay time 221 and 80% sustain and 2.5 seconds release time. And that's the sound we're getting from it. And you can also bring down the envelope. Yeah, and then a compressor on top of that, delay. What else? Filter, OSR setting. notice how this is giving it much more belly in the mid frequencies. And what else? Well, a little bit of fixing with EQs. Some people sometimes ask, like, why don't you do that with one EQ? Well, I don't know. Sometimes I just like to have it very visual what has been done. So this has been notched out here. This has been increased a little, and we had a low cut here. But we could also like, actually, that would be a nice feature for Ableton to say, hey, I have these 3 EQs, and every single one of them is just using one note. Let's right click and consolidate them into one. And what else? A little bit of slight OTT applied here to capture some odd effects. And then obviously a sidechain compressor. All right, so let's keep it here. Summing up, the super important thing in this one is it's an rather instrumental track. We still have a lot of room on top to put in a vocal, and the main theme is generated by this bongo groove. And we made this one with resonators. And if you really want to get closer to the bend groove sound, try using resonators, entering the key of your song and playing around with decay and dry wet. And you might be surprised where this takes you. And so summing up, this is our track. How many tracks do we have here? Quite a few again, 44. Minus 2 groups and minus a sidechain track. But yeah, I mean, if you want an interesting arrangement, you're going to have to use a couple of tracks. And we could also work a lot more with audio, but this way, since we set up everything with synths, it's fully editable, and we can change everything whenever we want. And if it's getting too CPU heavy, we can always freeze 1 or 2 tracks here. But I'm recording this tutorial right now, for example, on a 2017 iMac, which is recording in 5K right now on top. And yeah, with this tool here, and it's completely fine with all these instances of Serum. Anyways, this is our track. This is our project. Feel free to check the link in the description for the Böhmer style Melodic Deep Pack, or also the bundle together with the other one. For online courses from start to finish in this style, we actually have an online course for the track Sun Vibes right here, start to finish. It's called Melodic House from start to finish. If you're interested in that, we are building the track completely from scratch in there. We also have harmony and chord progressions courses on our website if you want to dive deeper into that subject. And feel free to leave a comment and a like below this video, or a suggestion what you want to see next. Subscribe to our channel, and I hope to see you next time. And let's play this track.